Hello, I'm Devin Kenny. Welcome to 20Hertz Dando, presented by Cam, miniature version. Hope everyone is doing all right during these trying times. Parental discretion is advised.
Solo un ratito,
dkyk.
solo un ratito, lo salto un poquito. Solo un ratito, lo salto un poquito.
You're listening to Someday.
Casi.
Flip!
We rolling on chrome box and it's a sunny day. Feeling marvelous, blowing like green haze. All about our cash, we work hard and got paid. Stacks multiply, now it's time to parlay.
It's a sunny day, so I'ma pull out the drive. No chain today, but I'ma pull out my watch. You know I'm iced up, looking like a wedding cake. I hear niggas whispering, man, I bet it's fake, but I got cash. Ride around in drop jags with my top bag. Interior all black with leather seats. Rims dip 4 times. I'm in the V12. Watch me blow by. You know me, I gotta put my stunt down. And when the louds pass by, I put my blunt down. Cause I stay high like a telephone pole. And I roll on foes and pimp yellow bone hoes. Swingers and blades is what we sit on. I'm talking on my flip phone. You get it? Flip phone. Smoking on the zone of that sticky icky green. Hoes see me in the jag and say, Flip, think
We
you
rolling
clean.
on chrome box and it's a sunny day. Feeling marvelous, blowing like green haze. All about our cash, we work hard and got paid. Stacks multiply, now it's time to parlay. Rolling on chrome box and it's a sunny day. Feeling marvelous, blowing like green haze. All about our cash, we work hard and got paid. Stacks multiply, now it's time to parlay.
I'm at the beach party in a pearl white drop. I had to take my bracelet off cause the girls might buy white Air Force Ones, fat Albert tank top, Nike headband, long braids hang out, hoes everywhere. Man, it's going down. The traffic's so bad, cops saying turn around. But you know, niggas, we go try to sneak in. Some niggas going broke trying to bow this weekend.
Gentlemen, my first guest tonight is the director of the Hayden Planetarium at the American Museum of Natural History, the host of Cosmos, and is my favorite astrophysicist. Please welcome Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil!
Say again.
Thank you.
Nice
But
to have
first,
you back. Yep.
fess up. How many astrophysicists do you know? If I'm your favorite, I don't even know what that means.
I don't want to know any others, Neil. You understand? I don't remember my old girlfriends. I don't remember the old astrophysicists before I met you. Okay, Neil, spoiler alert, you're a scientist.
Indeed.
And legally, I am required to ask you your thoughts about the coronavirus.
Oh.
And I understand you're not a virologist, you're not an immunologist, you're not an epidemiologist, but I suspect...
I'm an astrophysicist, Jim.
I suspect you have an opinion.
A point of view, I would say.
Okay.
I would say. So I'm broadly scientifically literate, but what I will say of this virus, I think we're in the middle of a massive experiment worldwide. And that
Where are
is...
the guinea pigs?
Maybe the experiment is, will people listen to scientists?
Bring visual aids. Thank you very much.
I'm just saying, Earth, and there it was, just alone in the vacuum dark of space. And you see it not as the social studies classroom globe showed you. There were no color-coded countries on it. All you saw was blue oceans and dry land and clouds. And at that moment, everyone changed. Everybody said, oh my gosh, pollution is not just this river behind my house or this lake. It is global. We have to think about Earth as a planet. And you know what happened in 1970? Earth Day was founded. The Environmental Protection Agency was voted into existence. By the way, by a Republican president. And what else happened? Over those years that we were walking on the moon, up through 1973, leaded gas was banned. What else happened? The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration was founded to take a look at the climate on Earth. No one before had thought of connecting the oceans and the clouds before, and they're both in the same title of that agency. A Comprehensive Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, all that happened while we were going to the moon. And people ask, why are we going to space? You know why we go to space? Because a cosmic perspective can descend upon you in such a way that you are realigned with your own survival and the survival of others in such a way that maybe you're going to do something about it. And we're in the 50th anniversary of that, and we need to keep doing it. That's all.
April 17th marks the 50-year anniversary of the Apollo 13 mission. I've been fascinated to hear these various forms of guidance from astronauts for how to deal with isolation, which for them is a very literal state of being away from almost everyone they know, and definitely everyone they will know, while working in the unforgiving vacuum of space. Upon return, they, like the Apollo 11 astronauts before them, were put into an immediate quarantine. In addition, the makeup of the team itself was largely influenced by pilot Ken Mattingly's exposure to the German measles, which he did not end up contracting. Regardless, seeing a model of death-defying isolation made into a life-affirming one has been impactful. The Apollo 13... Today, I want to share some things I've been thinking through since arriving in Houston. And I've made an excerpt of a performance essay of mine called Los Giros de la Siente, or 20Hertz dando, modified here for an airborne audio experience with the support of the CAM, Contemporary Art Museum, Houston. Parental discretion is advised. On April 12th, an immensely talented creator passed away. Her name is Addie Bornman, and she made memes under the name of GayVapeShark. I sometimes wonder if there's a correlation between being marginalized or having access to those things that make one feel less than, but are actually a possible source of strength. If this thing can make one more primed to creating work that can reach the heart, can touch and bring together masses of disparate audiences, or if it's just a tragic irony. If they don't get you in the wash, they get you in the rinse. Viral content, viral marketing, viral loads, being treated like a virus. This is a new poem for Addie. Cruise ships are docked, prisons and detention center concentration camps open late, airplanes are still flying for work and leisure. God damn this fucking COVID-19. It's now bronchially impossible to get a full hit of crack, says the salt and pepper white man, drizzled in watermarks, translucent white crosshairs over top, in a patchwork with vector graphic icons of a camera and mysterious alphanumeric sequences. Light blue dress shirt, navy blue silk tie, midnight blue blazer, eyes high or apathetic, I can't tell. Even though it ain't hard. Sitting at his desk, leaning in, leaning back, hands behind his head, like being taken into custody, but his smile seeps out, looking like a best value Rahm Emanuel. Rest in every possible proxy to paradise, GayVapeShark, Lettuce Dog, Addie, rest in agency. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge all the people who have lost their lives to this virus, and all the people who have made it through, all the people who are struggling at present, and a shout out to all the essential workers who are braving the situation for our benefit. Thank you. Brad Jordan, Scarface, thank you.
And liftoff. Cassidy, Ivanich, and Wagner on their way to the International Space Station.
Leaving Earth amidst the global crisis and the worldwide quarantine, we were commenting before we launched that we knew as a crew we were going to be in quarantine about 9 months ago or a year ago, those exact weeks. But we didn't know the whole rest of the world was going to join us.
Chris Cassidy just behind him, making his way his third trip to the International Space Station.
It is quite surreal for us to see this whole situation unfolding on the planet below. We can tell you that the Earth still looks just as stunning as always from up here, so it's difficult to believe all the changes that have taken place since both of us have been up here.
It's changed the way that mission control operations worked. They're actually doing handover between shifts, between two different rooms to minimize the contact, but yet here they are persevering, and through their ingenuity and their professionalism, they're going to return us to Earth safely, just like their predecessors did 50 years ago.
We have a poem here. It's called Whitey on the Moon. And it was inspired by some Whiteys on the moon. So I want to give credit where credit is due.
Shout out to Gil Scott-Heron.
That's it.
A rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon. Her face and arms began to swell, and Whitey's on the moon. I can't pay no doctor bills, but Whitey's on the moon. 10 years from now, I'll be paying still while Whitey's on the moon. You know, the man just upped my rent last night, cause Whitey's on the moon. No hot water, no toilets, no lights, but Whitey's on the moon. I wonder why he's upping me, cause Whitey's on the moon? Well, I was already giving him 50 a week, and now Whitey's on the moon. Taxes taking my whole damn check. The junkies make me a nervous wreck. The price of food is going up. And as if all that crap wasn't enough, a rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon. Her face and arms began to swell, and Whitey's on the moon. Was all that money I made last year for Whitey on the moon? How come I ain't got no money here? Whitey's on the moon. You know, I just about had my fill of Whitey on the moon. I think I'll send these doctor bills, air mail special. To Whitey on the moon.
Either they accidentally forced on us the key to eternal life, or we need to take their notion of evil with a grain of salt.
¿Dónde está? Con Satanás, yo quiero hablar con Satanás para pedirle una cosa que Dios no me ha querido dar, para pedirle una cosa que Dios no me ha querido dar, una negra sabrosa que sirva para bailar. Una negra sabrosa que sirva para bailar.
Continuing southbound on Laurel Canyon, here comes the pit maneuver. It looks like this should be a successful pit. Suspect wearing what appears to be a CSUN sweatshirt. Oh, okay. Suspect doing some breakdancing here in the middle of the roadway, and he is definitely playing games with officers now, putting on quite a show for the CHP helicopter, which has now arrived on scene as well.
Like cumbia, hip-hop too is syncretic, but with a history arguably farther away from the slave trade, though there were instances of black people in the U.S. sharecropping even to the 1960s, along with the segregation and peonage, which were based largely on the anti-black policies of the slavery period. U.S. descendants of slaves and Afro-Caribbeans of Jamaica and Puerto Rico, drawing influence from the sound system tradition, post-war music culture, the dominance of vinyl, electricity, plugging into a lamppost to power the party, city money, flattening the packaging for material goods into a dance floor, making a temporary home into a dance floor, making a temporary autonomous zone of a dance floor, making a discursive space of a dance floor, wherever it may be, trying to curve skirmishes. Hip-hop as the work song for a city in decline that ran out of jobs for people like you. A music made by people seeking a better life and being rewarded with a ghetto. A music for a generation that just missed the optimism of their parents first out the gate. And this vehicle mutated and adapted to every place it touched, leaving the New York metro area and traveling all across the globe and all across the country.
I wake up and teardrops, they fall down like rain.
Shout out
I
to
put
Rumor.
on that old song that we dance to, and then I head back to the trap. It's not much has changed. I've been hurt and fucked up too many years ago, hoping I could come up quick along the broken road. Well, I hustled and found a plug from me extra, show me love. Now I'm flexing in a wreck, they hating on me too. And every sleepless night led me to where I am. Bitches that broke my heart, they became hoes that scam. Show me a better way, promise I'll quit this game. This much I know it's true. I came up and so could you, and fuck the boys in blue. Fuck them all. Fuck 12, fuck 12. Fuck 12, fuck 12. Blowing money, act a fool. Who gets my proof? Brought my niggas, put them on. I promise I won't lose. I hustled and found a plug from me extra, show me love. Now I'm flexing in a wreck, they hating on me too. And every sleepless night led me to where I am. Bitches that broke my heart, they became hoes that scam. Show me a better way, promise I'll quit this game. This much I know it's true. I came up and so could you, and fuck the boys in blue. For 12, for 12, for 12, for 12, for 12, for 12, 12, for 12, for 12, for 12. This much I know it's true. In blue.
what was the first thought of space that led you to opening up like this in Calabasas and in Cody, Wyoming? What was the seed of coming to a ranch?
We're here.
How many acres are we sitting on here?
This is 4,500. And we have another ranch that's 6,500.
So
to create spaces that allow humans to maximize our potential, to take us out of the box. And literally and figuratively, we live in boxes. We leave the womb when we're born and get put directly into the tomb. We get put directly into our first square space, which is the beginning of us going from being multi-dimensional and completely imaginative to placed onto a grid. Those boxes are those grids. First, it starts off with the crib. Then we go to schools where that's a box. Then we go to higher learning a lot of times. That's a box. And then we end up at a job where we're working inside of a box. And then we do that to try to buy a crib, actually. And then we, have children and then put our children in a crib.
So instead of boxes, the easy way of life will look like what?
More flow.
While blues obsesses over the theme of mobility, hip-hop is as local as a zip code. He continued, in hip-hop, railroads have been replaced by another central reference, the city, or more specifically, the fractured territories known collectively as the ghetto. Innumerable hip-hop songs reference the term and all allude to a socioeconomic blind alley, a terrain defined by the lack of mobility of its residents. Scarface of the Ghetto Boys underscores this point on the single On My Block, where he rhymes, "It's like the rest of the world don't exist. We stay confined to the same spot we've been living in." Excerpt from Mako El Thaniel, Hip Hop in Houston. Feel ya.
It's a new day. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Scarface.
A new day brings a new problem to a brother, and all I got to say is thank God for my mother, cause without my mommy, dear, my life would have been a joke, either locked up, laying dead, or still slanging dope. But nope, the Lord, he had a plan for me, and with his help, my mother made a man of me. Didn't blindfold me to the world we was living in. Taught me how to save my little dividends, so when I graduated, I'd have a little school money. But in the 6th grade, I wanted to be the school dummy, and flunked out of school with the flagpole, and left my mother dear at home with a sad soul, because my mother worked the fingers to the bone, cause we was alone, and me, I brought an F home. My real pops, he broke out with the style, so I respect my stepdad for raising another nigga's child. So now we living comfortable. Taught me the game and how to be responsible, but back then I couldn't see it. I wanted to be a grown man at 14, so the kids leaving, and ended up in a big fight, and told me not to come home until I got my shit right. So now I'm living at my grandma's home. My grandma's strong, she's got 9 kids of her own, and keeping me ain't no big deal. But now that I'm much older, I see just how the shit feels, being kind-hearted, not wanting to tell me no, even though my grandfather just had a stroke, and now the money's low. And pretty soon, a brother's gonna have to go, or either try to find a job so I can help out. I'm in the ghetto, I got to get myself out, and when I get out, I gotta try to pave the way, so my family can have a better place to stay. I'm losing all hope, a brother's falling short, I can't cope, so now I'm slanging dope, and now my granny knows I'm doing wrong. She just praying for me heavily, take care of her grandson, and the Lord must have heard her prayer, cause he made me get a grip and got me on up out of there. I heard my mother say them streets is gonna kill you. You couldn't have told me nothing back then, but now I feel you.
Shout out Tommy Wright III.
about to do a homicide. Cranking up the ride, go out on the east side. First a blunt, rapper like us, cut off this clip. So when we get to cap, we won't have no kid. Rolled up on the set, slow, with the lights out. Then I see my enemies on them with the sound out. Buster standing on the corner, sipping on some Alice. When I got the chick to hit the clip, and they come in to spray, come back in the shit. Burn rough, as I say, still blink from last night, so kill it to time it right, just ain't no day. Falling down, head and six to yo, 5 million getaway. Pack my lane, the lane go and pop the trunk and put the pump in the plastic bag. Very yard of the house that my father had. Now these suckers fearing me, we lurking on the street. That I shot another and left it like a refugee. Yellow tape, chalk by the blood on the concrete. Jail, now one later. Step to me, you'll meet your
Look at the camera, Rico, on YouTube.
I'm just gonna go over the basics. The basics.
Okay.
How to do it. Blah, blah, blah.
What's up,
like
YouTube?
1 million.
I'm Nova King.
Our mother takes to like
And today,
20 minutes.
I'm gonna show you how to chop and screw.
Started
This video is for the for the beginners that want to learn how to chop and screw. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna.
I was just, you know what I'm saying, talking about how.
So, work with me.
100 subscribers, whatever it is. Talk about how
first off,
slow down music and shit like that. So, this is gonna be a
DJ Screw.
Screwed up, lick killers, these niggas don't want none.
Rest in peace to the legend. A lot of YouTube videos call it chops, not flop. Load and throw.
What a nigga represent.
Respect to him.
I'm gonna let y'all know. I ain't finna say nothing. I'm gonna let my hands do the talking.
Shout out to the whole SEC, those United States, Shoot Up Quick, all affiliates and families.
Southside players. Southside players. Love it, man. Love it, man. Love it.
1999 mixtape awards. Flew to New York, gave me this. You know what I'm saying? Put it down for the city, for the state, Texas. You know what I'm saying? My ghetto ring. You know what I'm saying? Just a little key, baby. I ain't saying I ain't no bad as DJ or nothing, bro. I just do what I do, you know what I'm saying? Represent what I represent. You know what I'm saying? For real. DJ Screw. Screw up click for life. SUC. Soldiers United for the Kids. Year 2000. Some young ghetto superstars. Representing Houston. Rapping about what we do, our lifestyle. Cars we got, you know what I'm saying? Press record and put this down on the streets, you know what I'm saying?
I was drawn here initially because I'd heard about the DJ Screw archive at the University of Houston. I was amazed that there was a comprehensive collection of material that was from a regional hip-hop community, one with national and international impact, of course, and that there was stuff from the relatively recent past being treated with care and also made accessible to ostensibly everybody. Some of the items in this archive include track lists for DJ Screw's famous Gray tapes, and I was fascinated by these lists and stories of people coming up to Screw's house and all hours seeking mixes, coming with requests and coming back fulfilled with expectations far exceeded, as it wouldn't just be the songs that they wanted, but also other songs to contextualize, past they may not have thought to draw. And this is what algorithms try to do today, but it seems like in that time there was an accountability. It wasn't just metrics. Before the first screwed up records and tapes, people would get music from hand, car trunk, and his home. At some point, there was a police raid because they presumed he must have been selling drugs to have cars lined up around the block at all times of day. The American dream is not to be pursued by all people, it seems.
Así. Agarre su parejita. Ya lo escuchaste, se llama el gallo mascaradote. Vámonos. Vámonos, Ricky. Vámonos con sabor. Con todo y gallitos, compadre. Ándale, ándale. Venga ese sabor. Ritmo, ritmo. Ándale, ándale con sabor. Venga ese ritmo suave. Ahí va, ahí va. Oye, ahí está el sabor.
Las cosas que pasan, las cosas que pasan. This is where the sound systems play and DJs sing talk on records, right? On just rhythms.
Which we will be seeing.
Right, we'll see it live on stage tonight. Yellow Man, Massive Dread, Joe's the Whales, Burro, Double Little John, and Rankin Toyin. All of them will be here tonight. Give us a great night.
I was mesmerized by the sonideros, and it matters. Finding parallels between the sonidero and the soundboy, the toaster, the MC, the griot, the street preacher, a continuum. Things blur together, and the last time I was in Rough Trade, it was with Eric De La Rosa, and we were seeing Actress spin an in-store to an almost completely inattentive room. A few people shuffling around, looking at displays of vinyl, books, box sets, or sipping coffee, but we were standing there.
Oh, yeah! New York City! This is
Before I
Old
left.
School Part 3. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. There was a time when man did live in caves, as we all know. These people were known as cavemen, Neanderthal men, or troglodytes. What we're gonna do right here is go back.
In rapt attention, even dancing under the fluorescent light banality of the store. Afterwards, I talked to him, my friend of over 15 years now, about my not-quite partner at the time and how I was being treated, how I knew I should leave, and empty threats about how I was going to, but then doubling back and describing all the good things about them as well. He said very matter-of-factly, "Bro, that's not okay. You don't need that. You should leave." At a different event, also at Rough Trade, Jace Clayton, aka DJ Rupture, had posed the possibility that Chopped and Screwed was influenced by cumbias rebajadas. Thanks to the research of Lance Walker, I found there were other fellow travelers such as DJ Michael Price, and even a forerunner in DJ Daryl Scott, who were more likely influences. But in following the oil, I came to something interesting. Parallel and overlapping histories, with Houston in the center, but not in a way that I expected.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. With you, you are with somebody new, and I don't know what to do, 'cause I'm still in love with you. In love with you. I'm on the outside looking in.
Nacho.
From the outside looking in, it's hard to understand. From the inside looking out, it's hard to explain. I'm reminded again of Apollo 13, the successful failure. There's a moment within the film adaptation of the events where all three astronauts are looking out the window into the stars and the moon, talking about the things they wish they could do for their loved ones, what they had planned, dreams of touching the lunar surface. But they have to snap back to reality for survival and start plotting their course, jettisoning souvenirs, conserving energy. Perhaps the holistic viewpoint of humanity attained by the mini astronauts with less catastrophic missions is different than that of the Apollo 13 crew. But maybe there's also lessons in their experience that can be applied to our current situation. Also dealing with disruptions of various forms. Also dealing with isolation, quarantine, separation, distance, and sacrifice. Slow down. Slow down.
Here's one I hope you know, and you can join in if you want. Everyone ready? Okay, 1. And... Well, I saw her today at the reception, a glass of wine in her hand. I know she was gonna meet her connection, and her feet was a footloose man. Now you can't always get what you want. Now you can't always get what you want. Now you can't always get what you want. But if you try sometime, you just might find
you get what you need.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They're out front here, and they want to put a transmitter up on the lawn.
Transmitter?
It's kind of a tower for live broadcast.
I thought they didn't care about this mission. They didn't even run Jim's show.
More dramatic now. Suddenly people are...
Oh, if landing on the moon wasn't dramatic enough for them, why should not landing on it be?
Look, I realize how hard this is, Marilyn, but the whole world is caught up in it. It's the biggest story
Henry.
since...
Those people don't put one piece of equipment on my lawn. If they have a problem with that, they can take it up with my husband. He'll be home on Friday.
Honky tonk rebajadas.
Hey, Fred. It's too cold in there.
I'm gonna leave with this. Day 4 quarantine. Drowning deep in my sea of loathing, broken your servant I kneel. You give it to me. It seems what's left of my human side is slowly changing in me. Will you give it to me? Looking at my own reflection, when suddenly it changes, violently it changes. Oh no, there is no turning back now. You've woken up the demon in me. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Open up your hate and let it flow into me. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. Get down with the sickness. Get down with the sickness. Out of the quarantine, madness is the gift that has been given to me. I can see inside you, the sickness is rising. Don't try to deny what you feel, it seems. But all that was good has died and is decaying. Give it to me. It seems you're having some trouble dealing with these changes, living with these changes. Oh no, the world is a scary place. Keep social distancing. Now that you've woken up the demon in me, and they're cutting Medicaid. I want to give a shout out Patricia Restrepo, Whitey Torres, Dean Derrico, Cam. Of course, want to give all praises due. DJ Screw, SUC, and all affiliates, family, Houston. Thank you. Be on the lookout. Cloud Emoji XX coming soon from Devin Kenny. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Peace.